Hello everyone, this is Movie Mantra Recap. Welcome to the channel. So today we are going to do a recap of The Martian, released in September 2015. And don't forget to subscribe the channel, like the video and hit the notification bell icon so you do not miss any future uploads. Thank you so much. Without wasting any more time, let's start. So as soon as the movie starts, we cover some scientist on Mars who is doing some experiments on the planet, taking some soil samples. That's when notification is received that there is a storm coming your way. And they all had to go to his spaceship in no time. Scientist starts filling up towards their spaceship in the storm when something hits one scientist. He gets lost in the storm. His name was Mark. Now in the spaceship, scientist is trying hard to contact Mark. This doesn't happen and they cannot find him. They all understand that maybe Mark is no longer in this world, so they left Mars without wasting any more time. But there, we see on Mars that Mark is alive. A steel river has gone in his stomach. He is in a lot of pain. While getting it out, he decided to walk to the chamber that all the scientists had taken for their shelter. He gets in the shelter and tries to take out the steel, but is very worried that how will he contact all the other scientists now? Neither is there a spaceship here, so will he remain on Mars for the rest of his life? Plus he doesn't have a weapon bay because of the storm. He knew that the next project that would come in space would be after 4 years. So 4 years is a long time. That means the food that he has in this time period is not enough. He will die. So something or the other has to be done. Now here he seems to be planning. He had some potatoes, which he wanted to crack and grow more. And maybe that's why all the scientist experiments across this planet. So Mark starts making some notes in his diary and starts farming so that he could grow the potatoes. But there was not enough water for him because there was very little water on the Mars. Even though there was no water, it was only the water that the scientist had brought with them. But luckily Mark was a botanist, so he knew how water could be produced. And if all cultivation can be done, then it burns hydrogen and oxygen and tries to create the water. But when he starts, there is a full blast in the shelter, because he did not calculate the oxygen that was being consumed. But on the next try, water starts to form on this place. Now the Mark produces water at that place where seed is used, and within a few days the seed covers itself. Mark is very happy. He gets hope. On the other hand, on Earth it is announced that Mark is dead and his funeral is also done. But only then do we cover a girl who was covering and looking at the satellite, and she covers up the clips of Mars, and finds that Mark is still alive. The stuff that used to be on Mars across the vehicle is now in a different place, and those are the solar planes which are shifted by Mark. That girl tells her seniors, and now they all understand that Mark is alive. But they tell them that if we start rescuing Mark, he will starve till we reach there. And that's even true, and there's Mark who's looking for some tricks to survive instead of being upset. The new project that came after 4 years, and the place where it can took 50 days to reach there, 70 days have already passed on the same place, so wasting any more time he should get to that point. But that place is 2,500 miles away from here, and the rover he has runs on solar panels. And in a day the rover cannot travel more than 35 miles, but this was the last option for Mark. But on Earth we are surprised that all those people have done a deed, that is by taking food and water to Mark and starting to prepare a spaceship. It will take a whole year to reach Mars, but Mark has already grown a lot of potatoes over there. Those potatoes were too much to eat, but Mark knew how long he could survive on potatoes. He has to be contacted somehow. Mark reaches at a spot where the camera is. There is a camera that can send pictures of Mars to Earth. Mark put 3 boards in front of the camera. He writes on the middle board, "Can you see me?" Left side says no, and the right side yes. And when the people on Earth look at the signs, so they move the camera towards yes, so Mark is very happy to see these people, at least they know that I'm alive. And they start talking in codes with Mark. They tell Mark that they are sending him food. Mark asks those scientists with whom I came to Mars, they are on their way to Earth, so did you tell them that I am here? So they say not yet, but now they will tell them as well. When Mark's other teammates find out, they feel bad too, that they left Mark over there. Then we see on Mars where Mark has farmed all the potatoes. There was a huge blast and all the potatoes got ravaged. Mark becomes very sad now that all the potatoes he had left were very few. By the time he got food or water, he would have already died of hunger. So now he decides that the food which he used to eat 3 times a day, now he will have to eat the same food with less meals, so that he can survive till the food arrives. Now on the other side we see NASA, who has launched a rocket in which was Mark's food and water. But as soon as the rocket launches, unfortunately it explodes and all the food is destroyed as well, so no food will be there for Mark. Everyone gets very sad, and when Mark finds out, he is very disappointed. But he gives a message to NASA that I am brave, I will not lose hope. I will fight till my last breath, and if possible, tell my parents that your son was very sincere with his profession. If he lost his life, then he is very happy about that. He took it to the end. Now those people ask help from China. China gets ready to take their model. China's spaceship is going to go after 28 days, it was through that Mark was rescued. But there is another man who gives them another idea. The spaceship which is coming back from Mars, send them back again towards Mars, and on Mars there's already a spaceship to reach the orbit of Mars itself. So the rest of the scientists will get Marks from that spaceship. But everything was very risky and the life of the remaining scientist was in danger. It could have taken 19 months. NASA takes this thing for granted. On the other side we cover Mark, who is busy on Mars. He is not losing hope. He is brave enough. When NASA covers that the spaceship that was returning to Earth is going back to Mars, they are quite surprised. We have not placed new orders for them to return on Mars. It was proved that he was the man whose plan was advised before. The same man requested these 5 scientists that you guys have to go and rescue Mark because he was a team member of yours, and second, if we find a way, the time may take many years. And you guys can reach in a few months till then. So NASA is very angry, but China only understands them. What is surprising is when Mark does not lose his courage and when scientists sacrifices their life if they are going to save their partner. So why are we stopping them? So they provide them food and China's help. The people try their best to make it successful. Now on the other hand, when Mark knew that the fellow is coming to rescue him, but his spaceship doesn't have enough fuel that can be inflated inside Mars, so he needs to make the spaceship work, so it can reach the orbit of Mars on its own, so that he can join his friends on their spaceship. Now that spaceship looks ready, but it's so heavy he wouldn't have been able to travel so fast, unless Mark had dumped some of the heavy parts. Now he starts the spaceship and start the travel, but he gets suffocated on the ship. That spaceship was not been perfectly fine. He finds it difficult to handle the ship, because he faints, and by this he was not able to connect others. Everyone is very worried, but after some time he regains consciousness, so everyone gets happy to hear his voice. There were a lot of people on the Earth who were very worried about this mission. The safety of Mark and the rest of the scientists is the concern of the Earth people. But here comes another problem. Mark, who controls the speed of the spaceship, is not able to do it, so he is now worried that his partner will find him in the same place. So Mark said to their fellows, "Don't be worried. I will remain courageous and soon will control its speed and reach you guys." The rest of the scientists drop a part of their spaceship. The spaceship's speed is reduced due to air pressure. Finally now these people can catch Mark. Now over there we cover the lady commander of the spaceship, which is passing through a rope on a moving chair and is approaching up to Mark. But the rope is too short to cross here. Mark remains quite far away. Mark said, I will make a hole in my spacesuit, and he made one hole so the air comes out from his suit and his pressure gets filled, and with the same pressure, he changes his direction and he moves, seems to be in the right direction, and finally it goes till the same commander. He was very happy that now his life was saved and he was rescued. Only then the spaceship gets a movement. Mark's hand is released from the hands of the female commander, but soon that commander throws the rope towards him and Mark gets the rope. Now finally Mark gets inside the spaceship. Now everyone is very happy that their mission was successful. Now in the next scene we see that all of them have finally landed back to Earth. Here Mark becomes the head of the all-scientist and starts teaching them all that if ever you stuck in space, how you will survive in space, never lose courage and hope, and with this the movie ends. Thank you for watching Movie Mantra Recap. And don't forget to subscribe the channel. See you in the next video.